Alright, so back here on the 1978 Toyota pickup, and I got a brake pedal. It is a bunch of complicated crap. So, um, I needed a couple of different adjustments on here in order to not have to be super precise. And so, I got a kit that came with a couple of different adjustable push rods, and the one I ended up going with was this one. So, you mount it in this way, and that way as you push the brake pedal, this is able to articulate, and so it needs to get mounted to where the cotter pin goes in horizontally. And so, that was kind of the first challenge, is to try to get a piece where this can mount through horizontally. Obviously it'd be easy if it was mounted this way, but when you push on the pedal, it wants to articulate up and down. It doesn't want to articulate side to side, so you need to get it mounted this direction. And so that's what this crazy contraption is here. And so I needed to kick away from the brake pedal a little bit. And then, I made sure to get my height to where when it was at the position that I wanted it to be, that this would be totally level. So the push rod is completely level in that orientation. And so then I needed to get a top piece and a bottom piece in order to stabilize everything. So, you do stomp on the brake pedal, and so that's got to be pretty beefy. And so I had to box all that in order to get that working pretty well. So that works. And then the other adjustment piece that I needed was on this side. And so when you push your brake pedal, the opposite side you're going to have a brake switch. And there's no way I was going to be super precise in being able to get this at exactly the right position to where when this was at the correct height, that it was going to enable the switch, and then when you push it down, or it's going to click it off. So there was just no way I was going to get all that right. Plus, this is sort of my first attempt at this brake pedal. It's possible that I'll want to change where it engages, and if I change the length of the push rod, then I will also have to change where the switch gets connected to. So I got a whole lot of play here. You can see there's quite a lot of play. I can move it out about half an inch or so, maybe 3/4, and then we move it the other direction quite a bunch. And so we got a lot of adjustability here, and mostly because there's just, I don't know, after I'm driving it for a little bit, I'll know if the brake position is correct, and then this way I'll be able to adjust it. So I'll get it mounted in there real quick and show you how it works. So it's awkward to get under here, but alright, so that's getting the brake pedal on. The next piece is to get the push rod on. Now, let's see, I'm not sure, let me grab a light, because you probably won't be able to see. So this is probably going to be terrible, but whatever. Alright, so that push rod, it has to go all the way up in here in order to hit the back of the master cylinder, and so that needs to connect in, but you won't be able to get it in the correct orientation without loosening this quite a lot in order to get over the lip of the master cylinder. And then once that is in place on the back of the master cylinder, like that, then this can be tightened in order to make sure that the pedal is at the right height. And so this is really just setting pedal height at this point. And so the push rod, as it adjusts outward, is just going to raise the pedal. And so, you know, I don't know. I mean, this is kind of where I have it set right now. You know, I don't know. It might be fine. It might be too high, whatever. But that's the point of that adjustable push rod that has, you know, a retaining nut and then all of this thread on there, is to be able to set that, the pedal height. And then you can see on the other side where this ends up hitting the switch. And so, you know, this connects with that switch at the top of the pedal height, and then, you know, your brakes don't come on until you hit the pedal down. And this is working pretty good, so I set up the master cylinder here and just been bench bleeding it here. And so you just route these lines into their corresponding reservoirs. So there's the front and rear reservoir, and you just route the line into it. And when I activate the pedal, I'm able to get, you know, it's pumping the fluid just fine. So I'll show you, you know, this is working great. And so I think this is going to work as far as like a first pass. And like I said, like that adjustability means that if I need to change the pedal height, if I need to change where it engages the switch, whatever, I should be able to do that. I got about an inch either direction, and an inch all the way at the top of that fulcrum is actually quite a lot at the bottom. And so, you know, while an inch doesn't sound like a whole lot, because those adjustments are happening near the top of the pivot point, you actually get a whole ton of adjustability there. So I think I'm going to keep the where it is right now. I got to paint it and clean it up and everything, but as of right now, it looks like I got a brake pedal. So next thing will be actually running all the brake lines and making sure that pedal does its thing for real. So, all right, thanks. See you in the next one.